We'll get into Milroe in a minute, but just overall, what'd you think of what the Seahawks did in the draft? 11 players. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, I'm a John Schneider fan, always have been, and I think they started with 5 picks in the first 92. They moved up from either 50 or 52 to 35 to get the safety Nick Emmanwori from South Carolina. I thought that was intriguing because if you're going to take a guy like him, you got to have a plan for him. What's the fit? Is he going to be Cam Chancellor? Is he going to be a big in the box safety, or is he going to cover people? What's he doing on third down? What's his role in sub? Is he going to be a will linebacker covering running backs or tight ends? I think you really have to have a plan. I mean, back in 20 or 21, there were a couple of guys with his body type taken early in the second round, both of whom have done well. It was Jeremy Chin, and the Pats took a guy also, I'm forgetting right now, but who's a really good football player. So I'm intrigued by John moving up to 35 to go get him. And really, one of my favorite players in the entire draft was the first-round pick, Zabel. And I think we talked with you guys about the need for that interior offensive line. Right? Reminds me a lot of the pick that Tampa Bay made a year ago for Graham Barton, the tackle out of Duke. He started every game for them at center, and he's going to be one of the best centers in the league this year.
All right, so you love Zabel. You love that he's going to be like Graham Barton. And then let's get to the guy that I know you were high on ahead of time, which is Jalen Milroe. What would your timeline be for Milroe?
Well, philosophically, I love what they did because very few NFL teams are intentional about the quarterback position, in my opinion, the way they should be. So basically, it's 2 moves, right? They go out and they trade Geno at age 35 for a 27-year-old Sam Darnold. They pay Sam a reasonable starting salary that they can effectively get out of after 2 years for plus or minus $65 million and a reasonable dead cap hit. And then they draft a developmental quarterback behind them. So there's a plan A and a plan B here. And I love the fact that, let's root for Sam Darnold to be who he was last year and continue to get better. But let's also develop this young kid who had the best physical traits of any quarterback in this draft. And, does he need 10,000 reps and time on task? Absolutely. But the fact that Darnold is there and can play at a highly competent level, I just think that John doubled down on it, not unlike signing Matt Flynn years ago and drafting Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. And I'm just a big fan of what John did there.
When you were with us in March, Mike, you talked about so many teams in the league are just kind of done before they ever hit the field because there's not alignment from ownership to front office to coaching staff and everything else, and kind of praised the alignment that we have seen here in Seattle under John's leadership for a lot of years. This draft felt like, Mike, there was a little bit more Mike Macdonald influence. Just looking at the sum of all the parts that they added and just some of the process that they went through, is it an overreach for me to say that, yeah, there was a big part of the Ravens and what Mike Macdonald experienced for a decade? You do feel that in this draft class?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any kind of I don't think you're alluding to a misalignment. I think you're just saying that the head coach has stepped up a little bit and said that I feel – and look, Baltimore is one of my favorite 2 or 3 teams in the league, because they've been consistent for the last 25 years, whether it's Ozzie Newsome or Eric DeCosta. They know what a Raven looks like and smells like, regardless of X and O's. And there is nothing wrong with that. I think John Schneider has always known what a Seahawk looks and smells like. And I kind of like the fact that Mike Macdonald's coming in with a philosophy and marrying it, the Emmanwori pick. I think that's a marriage of old school Cam Chancellor and new school Kyle Hamilton. Mm-hmm. It's kind of cool to see that. I think the 5th round pick, Riley Mills from Notre Dame, I think he's got versatility to play any position from tackle to tackle, whether they're in their base 3-man front or a 4-down look. And also on top of that, and again, the marriage of the 2 philosophies, it comes back to toughness love of football, consistency. I mean, your fifth-round wideout that got hurt, Horton from Carolina State, I had a higher grade on him. And again, consistency, toughness. I really liked what the Seahawks did in this year's draft. And Brock, I think you're right. I think there's kind of a blend in philosophy.
So we both liked it a lot too, but let me give you the one criticism we've heard, and I think I read this in Sando's column, came from another executive in the league who said essentially the biggest problem with the Seahawks draft was that they spent their first 3 picks on non-premium positions, right? Going interior offensive line, going safety, and then going tight end. Is there any concern that they didn't go with premium positions near the top of the draft, and maybe there was more of a need situation there instead?
I struggle with that a little bit because I think you get caught up in that, especially in today's shifting NFL. I believe you draft great football players regardless of position. The Zabel pick to me is, he could kick out and play right tackle in a pinch. There's no problem there. I mean, if you look at that draft, my biggest question is less about that and more about just, I don't know, because I didn't do the tape of the 6th and 7th round offensive linemen. So I don't know how good they are or what they're going to contribute. But my biggest issue going into last year was the O-line. And going into this year, Zabel will be the one addition. I don't know if Josh Jones is going to win a spot, but he's more of a swing tackle to me. So that was kind of my biggest. Okay, you took care. Gray Zabel's a great addition. He fits what they do. But I love the signing of Cooper Kupp. I love Torrey Horton. I love Arroyo and Font. I love that. I think they're going to become a much better run game if that offensive line can handle it. So I think from a skill set, offensively, I think they're in really good position. I just hope the offensive line is able to allow them to run the football and protects the quarterback at a higher level than last year.
Y'all know the voice that is Mike Mayock. So back to your day as a GM, Mike. When did you know? When did you know with these draft picks, right? It's kind of like a Christmas present. Here we go. We got our guy. They're all in our uniforms now. We get to see them at rookie mini camp, and now they're going to blend into the OTAs. When did you know, ooh, okay, this was a good one, or boys, maybe we misevaluated this one just a little bit.
Yeah, we had some uh-ohs. I'm not going to hide from that. But I think the answer to your question is, all the preliminary stuff, the OTAs, the mini camps, the meetings, they help you understand how a kid learns, how quickly he can process information and take it to the field. But really, until you get to training camp and you're live and full speed with the veterans, it's you don't know. And I'll give you an example. Like Hunter Renfrow was a 5th-round pick and Max Crosby was a 4th-round pick. Same draft, my first one in 2019. Hunter Renfro's first live one-on-one rep, he jumped up in the slot, and we had a veteran safety jumping across from him, and he ate Hunter alive. Got his hands on him, almost threw him to the ground. Hunter couldn't run the route. So the next time Hunter got up, same thing happened. And Gruden's looking at me like, why'd you do that? Like, this kid can't play. We're 2 reps in. We're 2 reps in with Hunter Renfrow. And Gruden's like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, John, just give this kid a chance. Trust me. He knows how to separate better than any kid I saw in the draft. He'll figure it out. And about 2 days later, he got up against the same safety and shredded him. And I mean shredded him. And Gruden looked at me, and the next time Hunter got up there, the safety didn't want any part of him. And Gruden made him get in. And so Hunter shredded him again. And now everybody's looking around going, oh, maybe we got something. Max Crosby, from the moment he put a pad on, everybody's going, this kid can bend. What a motor. Look at the length. So we knew early on the positive side with those guys. The negative side, sure. I mean, we took at number 4 overall, we took a defensive end out of Clemson. He didn't have the burst that we hoped he would have. And, he's still in the league and a good player. But at the end of the day, you see pretty quickly when you put the pads on guys.
Yeah. Any advice for Coach Carroll with the Raiders when we chat with Pete here in an hour? Any advice for Andy Reid and Mahomes, Herbert and Harbaugh, now even Bo Nix and Sean Payton? And any counsel you would give him as he's heading into that Raiders facility?
Are you kidding me? I mean, that guy's written the book. I'm still trying. I'm about halfway through it. It would be disrespectful of me to try to give him any advice.
All right, last thing then. I just want to come back to Milroe because I know you were high on him, and I've been fascinated by him, and I honestly feel bad because I feel like we haven't talked enough about Sam Darnold on our show because I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of Milroe. When you say he's got, the highest, what did you say, the best skills of any quarterback in the draft, what does that mean? I mean, what is it that he could be if this works out to the best of his ability?
So if you look at Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson and the way they can run, okay, let's start with their legs. Both of them are special. You would both agree, I think, with their ability with the ball in their hands to extend and or run for positive yardage and touchdowns. Okay, both of them fly. They're plus or minus 4.4 guys. Milroe is 20 pounds heavier and faster. And with all three of them, like people ask me how fast they are, and my answer is for all three of them is as fast as they need to be. They run away from safeties. They run away from corners. They're just different because they're different. Okay. As far as arm strength, arm talent, just, Brock, you know when you see a kid live, when you stand next to him and the ball comes out of his hand, you go, oh, my God. Different. And, yeah, he's got all kinds of arm strength and power, lower body strength to generate and help the arm. But the problem is if you look at a dispersion chart of his throws, he's all over the place. He'll throw a deep in route. It's covered by three guys and put it in the perfect place and then miss the next two or three throws badly. And so I always, Brock, I'd be curious as to your thoughts, but I always look at quarterbacks and try and are their feet and their eyes connected? Mm-hmm. And when I say that, Brock, do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. And Jordan Palmer, his throwing coach and kind of guru that he works with, Daniel Jeremiah, the exact same thing, right? That it's alignment, Mike. It's the same thing you talk about in an organization in a game plan. It's the same thing fundamentally with a quarterback. Is there that kind of consistent alignment? Because if there's not, then you're going to be a spray thrower.
Yeah, and you're going to have your off-balance throws. That's part of being a quarterback in the NFL. But if you don't have the basic infrastructure and alignment, which is a good way to put it, Brock, you're going to have trouble ever being a consistent quarterback at that level. So that's where it starts with from him, is to getting him the basic alignment and infrastructure so that he can build off of that.
Well, Mike, the audience wants to thank you. All you've done is further add fuel to the Mike Salk, Jalen Milroe hype train.
I'm excited about him. How could you not be?
He's now going to be like an Elon Musk missile that's going to be traveling.
I'm not sitting here saying that he should start week 1 or anything like that. But if you're not excited about Jalen Milroe, you're not doing it right. This guy's super exciting.
Yep. You got to calm down a little bit though, and you might be talking about week 1, but year 3.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I'm good with that.
Yep.
Oh, and in our business, that's a long way to wait, and you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to see him throw the ball in the dirt, and you're going to go, "Why did we draft that guy in the third?" So you just got to put it all in perspective, okay? And then my pet peeve in the NFL is how are we developing quarterbacks? Why have we missed so often? And now you look at Darnold and Baker Mayfield and Geno and their revitalization. Let's develop this kid properly and not show him to the world till he's ready.
Mike, thank you so much. It's great to have you on again. We love chatting with you. We really appreciate it, and let's do it again soon. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, guys. Have a great day.
Well, we really do appreciate you guys watching our videos.
And remember, you can like it, you can subscribe it, you can download the Seattle Sports app so you never miss a minute.